on Legion. Azrael here, like always. Pretty excited to check this out. This is an inside look of Spider-Man, the game. I wonder if they're going to be like just kind of showing us some details, some cool stuff about the game, or they're just going to show us them designing the game. I kind of want to see if they're going to tell us some kind of mechanics about some cool stuff. Maybe let us know if this is like open world or something like that. I'd be kind of excited to see or to know if this is going to be open world, kind of like open area, which I'm not really a fan of. The original N64 Spider-Man was pretty much an open world. You could go anywhere you wanted, which was really cool. I really enjoyed that game. But this looks like it's going to have so much more. The problem with the N64 game is it always felt very hollow. To have that big world, there's not a lot of people, if any. You never actually, I don't think, left the rooftops for the most part. It was almost always in the clouds. So, yeah, if I remember correctly. So let's just see if they throw some facts down on us and give us some insight on what their game is going to be all about. Let's check it out. See what it's all about. Hope it's good. Hope it's good. Tell us. How long is this?
The greatest thing about working on a Spider-Man game is that you're working on a Spider-Man game.
Yeah, it'd probably be mine too.
The hardest thing is that it's a Spider-Man game. We really care about storytelling here at Insomniac.
And I think that's how we go into every day we come here. There's this push to really get it right.
One of the most compelling things about Spider-Man is just when Peter Parker and Spider-Man's worlds collide. And we've tried really hard to weave the two stories together to create a story that is not necessarily just a superhero story, but a human story as well.
So this Spider-Man is a little different. He's older. He's 23, so he's been Spider-Man for 8 years, and kind of like an athlete in the prime of his career, he's starting to get good at the Spider-Man thing.
The nice thing about playing an experienced Spider-Man is that he's already familiar with his powers, right? He's not just discovering them.
We always think of Spider-Man as, we call him, the acrobatic improviser. He's looking for not only how he can take advantage of the way the enemies are positioned, but what around him. Could he use this object to grab with his webs and throw at an enemy? We want people to not only see the enemies in front of them, but the environment around, to take advantage of both of them.
He also knows that the criminals out in the city know how he works as well, so he's got to mix it up.
So even though he is more experienced, the challenges are going to be bigger than he's ever faced before.
All right.
Spider-Man has a rich history of having great stories. The core of our story is this duality between being Peter Parker and being Spider-Man. What's cool about Mr. Negative is that he also has a duality. He's got his positive side as Martin Lee, who runs the homeless shelters in the city, but he also has his negative side.
When Peter makes the connection that the leader of the inner demons is the guy who my aunt works for, we got the perfect collision of those two worlds.
So we've all seen this pretty
have
much.
Their own vision of what Spider-Man should look like, what he should sound like, and in the end, we just have to put a new and fresh twist on who he is.
And for us, it's really, really important to deliver those big spectacle moments, those near impossible scenarios that only someone like Spider-Man can survive, and put you in that action. You got this, you got this, you got this!
Good voice acting. I like him.
And what this character means to people in here. And we're making this game with a lot of heart, and we're going to do whatever it takes to give people the ultimate Spider-Man experience, the game that they've been waiting for.
QTC's right there, man. Nobody likes that. Didn't tell me everything I wanted to know, but yeah, it gave me. They didn't really get into a whole lot of the game. Just the general information in the game. They kind of like explained in more detail of what we already saw in trailers. Passed down some of the information about, say, like Aunt May and the connection to Mr. Negative's, Lee, whatever Lee. Overall, I think it's going to be damn well probably one of the best games to come out in 2018. I just did a reaction to Kingdom Hearts 3. Looks really good, beautiful, but this game looks gorgeous as well. I think this is going to be like a story-based game, not with action in it. So I think this game is going to kind of fail on the replayability. I think it's going to 100% fail on replayability. And I think that overall it's going to be pretty interesting for a story, but as far as a superhero Spider-Man just kind of go around game, I don't think it's going to be like if they made a game like this with RPG elements to it, I think it'd stay around forever, but it's not. It's going to be an action-based game, and I think that's going to have a shelf life. My only real gripe, though, with the game, because that's how every game is, right? What I just said, or for any game like this. But my real gripe with a superhero game is they always take the shittiest characters, the shittiest villains, I mean. Mr. Negative. We don't get to see Scorpion. Nobody wants to see Venom again. Hell, I wouldn't mind an appearance from Carnage. But a lot of times when we see these characters, they always take they want to take like the least known one and make them like the most badass. And we want something creative where it can bring in maybe a couple of the good characters. Hell, Scorpion would be a fine add-on as a sub thing, or trying to stop a symbiote, blah blah blah. And maybe people are tired of that. I'm kind of tired of seeing Doc Ock. You can't really go wrong with Green or Hobgoblin. You just can't. They're both good. And something that's just kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's because the last game had pretty much every villain in it. The N64 one did. They want to do something like this, something focused and pinpoint, and I get that. I'm not super aware of Mr. Negative, of what his origin is or anything like that. So for me, the villain is a nothing, a nobody, and it's not really important to me specifically. That's just my opinion. Anybody else is like, oh, that's really cool they're doing it. Like, anybody who ever watched the original, this is going to DC, I know, but The Batman, which was a cartoon that came out years and years ago, and they took one of the mobsters, something Zeus, or just Zeus, and they made him like this tech mogul. Instead of just being a mobster, he ran for governor and then had, this technology that he designed, and he was like a major player. Like, he was like huge as like in the villain world. It wasn't just some shit mobster. So it's kind of what I feel like they're doing here. Taking somebody maybe on the lower totem pole kind of situation and making him more big than he originally was written to be. With that, though, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I don't really want to go into too much more of what's going on here. Seems good. It seems like a great game. But the more I see of it, the more I think this game's going to be limited and just a game. It looks like it's going to be like an action game. Like the new Tomb Raider game, very much action, but with a huge story. They say they're big into storytelling. We've seen nothing involving story from them at all. Nothing that I've seen. And I look all the time for new trailers, don't see them. All we keep seeing is the same scene over and over again with Fisk, Kingpin. And, that's really kind of like all we've seen. It's just the action part of this. So it seems like, I don't know if they're going to have it, like, they could just blow us away with a huge in-depth story. And if they have like a decision-making aspect, like, oh god, what was that game? The one where the girl was seeing things from the past through the pictures and go back in time. I forgot what that was. I kept thinking Stranger Things, and that made me forget the real name of it. But it's something with a decision-making aspect that impacted the decisions of the story and who got hurt or saved. That would be pretty cool. The death or possible survival of Gwen Stacy. That would be a cool chunk of a story in this as well. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks again for watching. Once again, my name is Azrael. I'll see you on whatever video I'm doing next. Again, just some thoughts. And, I'll see you later. Whatever video is next. Later.